So that, but look at verse 22 where we are saying, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith. We have dealt with the fruit of the Spirit is love. So tonight we're going to deal with joy and peace. Now, don't forget that when we're talking about the fruit of the Spirit, we are not talking about the fruit of the Holy Spirit. We're trying to talk about the fruit of the recreated human nature. In other words, if you're born again, if you're a new creature in Christ Jesus, what is going to be the evidence? What is going to flow out of you? The most primary, and it is the foundation for every other fruit, is love. Now, we therefore try to define love the way that the scripture put it. Now, the love we're talking about is what the scripture calls the agape. The agape is the God kind love. The kind of love that God has. It comes from His nature. Now, remember there are other kinds of love we also talk about. We talk about this hobby, which is talking about the kind of love that anybody can have for another person. Like the brother can have for a brother, sister can have for a sister, mother for the children, children for the parents. And we give an example of the two cousins. One of them loved the child that she was ready to suffer loneliness and let the child leave. But the other one that did not love that child because she was not the mother, said, cut the child into two. And Solomon just said, oh, she's the mother of the child. Give it to her. Why? Because she loved that child with a motherly love. The other woman may not be a bad person, even though she's a prostitute, but the fact is that she didn't love that child with that kind of a love that a mother will love the child. So there is a natural human love. And there is a value love, which is the kind of friendship love. People in your office, in your point of view, your boss, and you're not just because of that environment. There's something that makes the person fond of the other person. And so we'll place that one as lightness, friendliness. But there is the other kind of love, which I think I said so last week. Primarily, it may not be bad. The errors may not be naturally bad, only that because of the twisted human nature. So it becomes sensual because it's based on attraction. It's based on attraction. So when a person is wrongly attracted, that's why in the English language, the English word erotic is drawn from that. The kind of lustfulness. And a husband can have an erotic attraction towards his wife, but if it is twisted in its nature, it is still as sinful, because what he asks for his wife, or the attraction he asks for his wife, can be have for another person. That's why the scripture does not use the word eros for even a husband and a wife. It says husband as a power of your wife. In other words, love your wife with a God kind love. Am I communicating? Love your wife with a God kind love. Because if you're following the human nature to love your wife, it means that you can still love another woman with that kind of natural erotic attraction. And so we are trying to talk about the God kind love, which usually is translated in the New Testament charity. And that love is what makes God to treat us the way He does as a Father. Teaches us, deals with us, brings Himself to the level, sacrifice. The Bible says God commended that kind of love towards us. In that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So He's telling you that's the way you ought to love. That's the kind of love that I have. Understand that kind of love. So we have seen in the previous studies that in the book of Galatians, it is one of the most profound, or gives us one of the most profound revelations on the matter of spirituality, and that is talking about spiritual character. We have also seen that one is not a spiritual person because the person is gifted. And that is one of the mistakes that people make, because the person is gifted and he has a gift of vision, he is prophetic, he is a prophet, he can heal the sick, and he knows how to pray. So the who is a very spiritual person. And so a lot of people are doing, not even because of maybe a church hierarchy, the position of Christ, the bishop, is an apostle, is a pastor, is a reverend. So that means that, oh no, that man is a spiritual person. Spirituality has nothing to do with anything that is material. Spirituality is character. Somebody say character. And spirituality is not just ordinary character, it's spiritual character. That's what we are trying to talk about. So in spite of even observances, religious observances in church, a person may still not be spiritual. In spite of hierarchy in church, elder, deacon, and whatever, it may not be spiritual, because spirituality is identified only by character. And the reality of the new birth can only be evaluated by these spiritual traits inherent in the believer's recreated nature. That new nature is supposed, if the person is born again, if the person is now a child of God, these traits must be there. Nothing, I will say, he will like this thing, he will do. No, these traits. A trait is something that is inborn, that is what is in you. For example, your voice is a human trait. Every human being has a voice. So you speak, people recognize you by your voice. And that is to say that if you're trying to describe a person, you also think about a person's voice. Oh yes, that eye, it speaks very low, it speaks very loud. His voice is kind of a treble kind of voice. His voice is a baritone kind of voice. These are traits inside. Now, it comes out because it is created that way, so to say. So when we are born again, there are certain traits that also come out from within us. And of these, the first and the most basic, the fundamental is love. And that's the reason why in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, it starts with love. So a person's spiritual character is founded on love. Everything that a person will be as a child of God is founded on love. And I hope that we understand this. I hope that God gives us the revelation inside. A believer must have love. If the person does not have love, then the person's so-called believerness is questionable. Because without love, nothing has actually happened in your life. Let us just think of that briefly before we continue. Now, when we talk about love, what made you actually give the life of Christ? Oh, the troubles were too much in the world. You were not yet born again. In fact, the enemy pursued when you were not yet born again. I'm saying very harsh things, but this is true. That's the reason why you have churches full of people that are not actually saved. That's not why you give your life to Christ. For God so loved the world, you must recognize that God loved you and that He sent Jesus Christ to die for you. And it is on the basis of that you give your life to Him. And when you give your life to Him, the first gift that He gave to you, that is in the new nature, is the gift of love. That's why we sing that song. Sweet peace, the gift of God. It is out of that love that every other thing will flow. Let's go to 1 John chapter 4 again. Look at it. 1 John chapter 4. In verse number 8. Listen. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. Here it is that God has love. God will show you love, but it says God is love. That means that is His nature. That is His character. Love is His person in God's nature, is the part of God's nature. And so it's telling us that anyone that loves not, he doesn't know God. What is the evidence of not God? I'm going to receive Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. If you did not know Him, how could you receive Him? If you didn't know Him as the one that was sent to die for your sins, how could you receive it? How do you receive something you don't know? I mean, let's be frank. You cannot receive a thing you don't know. You cannot receive a person you don't know. You would have recognized that Jesus died for my sin. And the reason why people don't know the effect is because they don't know that God loves them enough to forgive them any sin that they are committed in their life. And this is the committed adultery for God. Abortion, yes, a king, he will, because he loves you. In you that what led you to do that is not what he created. It is the nature of Satan. It's that seed of Satan that was planted in the man that makes them to do it. That's why the Bible says the works of the flesh have been. So he loves that man, even though he hates the sin. So he forgives the man because he says, I know that what is in you is what has caused you from this to do the things that offend me. But I love you. And if we recognize the love of God for us, then he gives us his nature to destroy that nature of the devil. And that is why we talk about Jesus coming into the life of a person. And if Jesus comes in, then the first experience you're going to have, the first knowledge that is going to dawn inside you is the knowledge of love. You will love him. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with your whole heart, with your whole soul, with your whole mind, with your whole might, with your whole strength. You will just discover that you love him because it's a part of you now. It's not what you are learning. It's the fact you are not matured in it. You have not grown up so much in it. You have not known all that is going on. But you just know, I love him. Okay, how do you know you love your child? You just know you love your child because it's your child. Am I communicating? You love your child. Okay, how do you know you love your child? You begin to think. You can't explain it. You just know you love your child because it's your child. But the truth is that your nature is in that child. That child is a part of your nature. So there is no way you will not love that child. And then something happens. Once the nature of God is in us, somehow we love that child. I mean, we love our God. Just like parents love their children, and children also love their parents. Even if you did not know that somebody was your parent, you related. The moment you knew, you see that your idea towards that person is affected because of the acknowledgement. You just accepted it. Oh, it's my father, it's my mother, it's my brother, it's my sister. That acknowledgement. Oh, that's my son, that's my daughter. Oh, that's my father. That acknowledgement changes everything. Forget the other feelings, but that knowledge changes everything about the relationship. Now, the matter is that it is that nature that makes us to love God. And that is the beginning of every other thing that we have with God. The God kind love, the adoptive kind of love. And that's why in 1 Corinthians 13:13 it says, the greatest of this is love. But following closely, love. There are two things we want to look at: joy and peace. If a person does not have love, he cannot have what we are trying to talk about tonight: joy and peace. If you don't have God's kind of love, you cannot have God's kind of joy and peace. We are talking about the kind of peace that people talk about in the world. So we're still looking at this matter of the fruit of the Spirit, and we're talking about the character of the spiritual man. Now let's read together as we look at it. Galatians 5, verse 22. From your anvil, are you ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, read. But the fruit of the Spirit is love. Number 2, joy. Number 3, peace. Stop right there. Love, then joy and peace. And truly, no one can walk with God and grow spiritual character without true love. But what is evidence of the agape love, the God kind love, is joy and peace? The evidence, and the evidence that a believer is backsliding or as backsliding is the loss of joy and peace. The moment you see that joy and peace is dying, is waning, is not strong, then you know that you are losing. Even if you're a child of God, you are already fading away from God's presence. Joy and peace is not synonymous with the feelings of happiness that normally come in human life that attend humans naturally at particular times. It may be because they've got something, they have asked and new possession, they have a promotion, people treated them well, especially due to favorable dispositions in life. We must also separate what we call the fruit of the Spirit from the natural human experiences, even though there are ways, and many ways, as a matter of fact, that they may appear similar. We must also separate the extrovert, the extroverted person. There are extroverts, people that are outgoing, they are cheerful. When they see everybody, they're smiling, they're cheerful. But it's not necessarily the joy of the Lord. And sometimes you see the introvert person, he's quiet, reserved, you're making noise, you're rambling, and he's quite looking at you. That's not necessarily the peace that we're trying to talk about. Because if you're not careful, you confuse them. And you confuse them because there are some people that smile, they are full of sadness inside. I mean, they're confused inside. Because it is because of what is available, what they're seeing, people around them. Sometimes it's because that man is quiet, is ignorant because they are not provoked enough. You know me when I said like this, something is spoiled. So I just look you. Something is inside, it's telling that something is inside that has not come out. That's not the kind of peace we are trying to talk about. So the joy and the joy of the Lord and the peace of God that comes as a result of the fruit of the Spirit, or what grows inside you as fruit of the Spirit, is completely different from what humans naturally experience in this world. The first question we're going to ask is, what is joy? What is joy? What is the joy in the Bible? Now, there is a difference between the word joy and happiness in the Bible. Happiness is usually external. It is usually because of things that are happening around us. Anybody can be happy. You want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. And when we're not happy, we're not okay. We say, oh, I'm sad, I'm not happy. I'm not okay, I'm not happy. But when things are happening like we want them to happen, naturally we become happy. But if there's true joy, whether the things are happening the way you want them to happen or not, you will have the joy of the Lord. And that is what we're talking about. That's what makes it different. That's what makes the child of God different. That's what makes the child of God grow in this. Sometimes one God will even speak to us. God will not speak to you when your joy is not full. If you lack that joy, I mean what we're talking about, the fruit of the Spirit, you will not see God come because it has an inner turbulence. So what is the joy? That joy is a pure delight. Somebody say delight. Say it one more time. Delight is pleasure. Something that pleases you, something that is a kind of excitement. I mean, something that gives you a kind of gladness. Is delight, pleasure in God's goodness. You have a kind of pleasure, delight in God's goodness. Is great and is love because He loves you. Because you know that He loves you, He cares for you. You know that God is good to you. Know that God's goodness cannot change towards you. You know it. So you are delighted in Him. You have pleasure in Him. It is the trait that comes that causes one to find satisfaction in God's purposes only. Because you know that God is good to me. God is a good God. God is a gracious God. If God could forgive me my sins, there's nothing other than, greater than that in this life. And because He has forgiven me my sins, He can do anything for me and everything for me. So it makes you believe, seek for, strive for, just desire satisfaction in God's purposes only. So that in spite of happenings around, one can still have a kind of elated feeling, a kind of a forceful feeling. Deep down inside you, of happiness, an experience of pleasure in the Lord. So there are just two things. Number one, the joy of the Lord is the light, and satisfaction in those purposes. Let me just give you an instance. Now, what made Peter and John, when they were beaten because they were preaching Jesus, what made them say that they were happy, that they were accounted worthy to be beaten or to receive stripes for the sake of preaching the gospel? They were not sad. They were not feeling frustrated. They were rejoicing, the Bible says. Why was it so? Now, that means that they were humiliated, didn't affect the joy of the Lord in them. They were embarrassed. They were disgraced. I mean, adults, people that are confident of their own, call them managing directors. They were beaten like criminals against the prevailing laws of the land. And yet they said, we are happy that we have to suffer reproach for the sake of Jesus Christ. Just count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Now, what makes the difference in the life of the person? One of the things I've discovered today is that some believers don't have what the Bible calls the joy of salvation. Many believers don't know. And I was talking to myself yesterday, I'm praying over here. Probably our preachers also are contributing to it. Because we don't seem to value salvation. A person is seeking happiness through money is going to get, through success and business, not because it is safe. There's a song I've not heard, or even if it's not, I've not heard it from the pulpit, if it is not more than 15, 20, 30 years. My joy is that I am saved. My joy is that when you hear that song loud, some of people probably may not have even talk about it. Because some people don't know it. The joy of many people is not that they are saved. The joy of many people is that they have money, they have house, they have car, they have a good position in the office, they have material wealth. That is the joy that they are seeking for. But the joy that comes from our newly created nature or our reborn nature, that joy is the delight in the Lord, because it is God's law, delight in the grace of God, delight in the goodness of God, delight in all that God is, and finding satisfaction in what pleases God. Come with me to the book of Psalm 51. Psalm 51. Psalm 51. I'll come back to it, but look at Psalm 51, verse 1 verse, in verse number 12. David has committed adultery with Bathsheba, and he's not crying out to God to forgive him. He wanted to know that God has mercy on him. He wanted to be sure. He didn't just want somebody to tell him. He wanted to experience it, because something happened. In verse 12 it says, restore. Somebody say restore. The word restore means to put back in place, to bring something that has been taken away back to the position. It says, restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Notice, it says, restore unto me the joy of your salvation. In other words, there was a time David knew that I have joy because I'm saved. I have Jesus in my life, I am satisfied. Even though I have nothing, I am satisfied. Oh, some of you don't even know those songs. That's what made a Christian different. He has nothing, but he's satisfied. People look at it, they wonder, this man, he must be a millionaire. Please give me 100,000 naira. Oh, I wish if I had that, I would have given it to you. Even if I had 10,000, I would have given it to you. But I will pray for you that God will do it. And the person is going to say, this one is very wicked. See? It means that he cannot give me ordinary 10,000, 100,000 naira. Because you look like it. Now, they're not looking at, listen to me. They're not looking at the people who ask him money or think they ask money because of his dress you wear or something like that. Am I communicating with you? Not because of the dress you wear. They look at your attitude, your character, how you carry yourself, and they just feel, yeah, this person, for him to be there, for her to be there, So what I'm trying to say is that there is the joy of the Lord, the joy of salvation. So these people are living morning life. I mean, just if you hear the voices that focal tongues that just become, I mean, just like they're mourning and mourning, they just came out of the cemetery, they just came out of the mortuary. All because they say that problem is not solved. The other name is there. That thing is all there. Not because of their salvation. David says, restore me the joy of my salvation. The moment you think that joy of salvation will just, I mean, nobody will tell you about it. Nobody will force it out of you. When you do wrong, you just discover that you have lost it. Something is out of order. And if it is out of order, you need to cry to God because you are heading for the disaster. That's the reason why. That's the first thing that grows in your life. Out of the love of God and loving God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength, the next thing that will grow is joy. You're going to church, you're happy. You're reading the Bible, you're happy. You're praying, you're happy. You're talking to people about Christ, you're happy. See people that are so-called preaching Christ, they'll be quarreling with people they are preaching to. You're not happy. Am I communicating? You're not happy. How can you be quarreling with the people that you're preaching to? Just like the story of a young man that was said to say, you must repent today. You must repent today. Put his Bible down. I say you must repent. Well, that's a real story or it's just an illustrated story. It is the attitude of some people. Because they don't have the joy. They don't have the joy that they're saved. If you have the joy that you're saved, when you're talking, people will know that you have the joy of salvation. What is peace? Peace is the state of tranquility, quietness. It is freedom from outward disturbance. I pray that many of us will need to go examine ourselves to see the reason why we are not growing. It is a kind of freedom from outward disturbance. Things are happening outside, but cables are firing up. This letter is coming. The other message is coming. The other one is speaking against you. This one is threatening you. But you just are calm inside. You are just settled inside. It is freedom from outward disturbance. It is inward calm that is characterized by lack of violence and conflict behavior, lack of aggressive and hostile tendencies. So when the person is aggressive, hostile, always shouting and snarling and nagging and the person does not have peace. Am I communicating? Hello? Now the person does not have, that means that something is wrong. The peace is supposed to grow out of love. Love is a foundation. But the peace, you see, what I discovered is that as long as joy is not there, as long as peace is not there, the flesh can never die. Now, I believe that you're beginning to understand. So in the flesh, you must have the joy of the Lord. The love of God must give birth to joy and peace. And if the love, joy, and peace are not there, the flesh can never die. How can you not do? How will you not do rather for somebody that you don't love? You hate that person, you harm that person, you think evil about that person. And when you're not joyful, you speak bad words to the person. When you don't have peace, you're aggressive, you're hostile. You just find yourself that you're not treating people well because you don't have peace. Am I communicating? It's supposed to grow. Somebody say grow. That's why it's called the fruit of the Spirit. As a matter of fact, essentially, it should be in the nature. But what we're trying to talk about is that it must have to grow out. Nobody sees it until it grows out. Nobody knows about it until it grows out. When you plant a seed in the ground, it is there, all right. But until it grows out, it is not recognized. So it's called a fruit of the Spirit. And if you notice, let's just read something in Acts 20 verse 24. I think that's going to explain it. Acts 20 verse 24. Paul was going back to Jerusalem, and there are prophetic revelations of what was going to happen to Paul when he gets to Jerusalem. He said, Paul, you are going to be armed. They are going to bind you if you Don't lose your life or hand you over to the romance. In fact, no dangers are waiting for you. And Paul tells us, but none of these things move me in verse 24. Neither count I my life dear unto myself, that I may finish my course with joy, and the ministry which the Lord Jesus Christ has given to me to preach the gospel of the grace of God. He said, none of these things move me. Why was he not moved? He said, I'm not shaking. But the faith does not shake me. Shaking comes from inside. It doesn't affect my joy. It doesn't affect my peace. I mean, I still love God. Even though this is, God, what is it? No. I still love God. I still have the joy of the Lord. I still have rest. None of these things move me. And that's what we're talking about. You see, the moment that shakes you, something is wrong. So the joy of the Lord is the light and satisfaction in God's purposes. And the two primary characteristics of these are freedom from fear and violent or aggressive hostile tendencies. Once you have that settlement inside, like they call it tranquility. You know, there are some drugs that they call tranquilizers. Tranquilizers are drugs that they give you to sleep off. If the person is having mental problem, is shaking everywhere, they give you tranquilizer either as an injection or a drug to sleep off. It's what they will rest. And that's what peace is. It's tranquility, tranquilization of every aggressive, hostile tendency in the person. Now, the question to ask yourself is, am I aggressive inside, even though not outside? Am I aggressive? Am I hostile? Then something is wrong. Now, this is very important. One of the greatest signals of being in the will of God, of acknowledging God's presence, knowing that God is with us, or we are outside the will of God, is joy and peace. If you're praying for something, the evidence that you are outside the will of God is that inner peace settlement. Sorry, that you're within the will of God is that inner peace settlement, a kind of rest. The more you pray, the more the peace will invade your inner person. But the evidence that you're outside the will of God is that the more you pray, the more inside becomes trouble. I mean, the moment you begin to observe that trouble inside you, whether you're praying or not praying, ask yourself, what is wrong? Go back to God in prayer. If you want to take a sharp move, just relax a little bit and watch what happens. If you want to enter a ball and that peace is not there, it is a signal. If you want to find something, that peace is not there, it is a signal. The joy of the Lord and the peace of God will go together. Are we communicating still? And that's why, as a believer, you must grow it. It is the truth. Now, as a younger believer, you may not know all that you're supposed to enjoy in it. But as you begin to grow, look at Isaiah 26, verse number 3. As you begin to grow, you will see that it is the way of God working with in maturing or growing believer. It is the evidence that you are spiritual, or you are tending towards spirituality, or you are growing up spiritually. Chapter 26, verse number 3 of Isaiah. Thou wilt keep in perfect peace. Somebody say perfect peace. Oh, say, let me hear you. Say perfect peace. It says, thou wilt keep it in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because it trusted in thee. So once your trust for God, once your confidence in God begins to shake, you begin to lose that peace. And the more the peace grows, the more your trust for God is growing. That's why we call it one of the keys of spirituality. The Hebrews say, thou wilt keep it in peace. Peace. It grows, it develops. But if it is dying, if it is weakness, if it is not there, something is out of order spiritually. So the most primary indicators of our Lord is joy and peace in the Holy Ghost. Like Paul tells us, the kingdom of God is not eating and drinking. It is righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Ghost. And that means that now people think that Paul was saying heaven It's not eating and drinking. There's nothing wrong if you say that. Now, our Christian idea sometimes are limited that we usually take scriptures out of context, so we don't understand it. The kingdom of God is not talking about heaven in that passage particularly. It's not talking about heaven. It's talking about the sphere of God's dominion. It's talking about the ruling of God. So that God is ruling you, three things Paul says will be evident. Number one, righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. So if there is no peace and joy, it means that something is out of order. God is not ruling. Am I still communicating there? So now, no spiritual gift, on the other hand, will be fulfilled or fulfill its ultimate purpose without these fruits of the Spirit. Sometimes you see a person can be claiming spirituality because he doesn't have the joy of the Lord. He doesn't have the peace of God. This is him beginning to misbehave because he doesn't have the fruit of the Spirit. Now, don't forget, gifts of the Spirit are not necessarily spirituality. Now, a person manifesting the gift of the Spirit that does not give himself to develop the fruit of the Spirit will see somewhere that he has lost it. Then that can even take over and begin to help him, just like it's evident today. And that's the reason why you don't run after gifts. Tell a neighbor, don't run after gifts. Please say properly, let me hear you. Help me preach. Don't run after gifts. But that's the reason why God trains us to grow joy and peace according to our individual nature, our unique temperament, our unique traits as women. So God trains us. And like we said before, the fruit of the Spirit does not come like that. We are trained. Now, what are the things that God will use to train you to grow joy and peace? The things that will make you sad, the things that will make you unhappy, the things that will affect you negatively, that will affect your emotions. Those are the things that God allows in order to bring out the fruit of the Spirit inside you. Now, we are not the same thing. Every one of us. There are some people that you can sit down here, look at them, abuse them. As women, not because they're filled with the Holy Spirit, they will not just answer any question. Answer one problem. It's their nature. There are some people that the moment they enter, they can make friends with everybody. In fact, they can know everybody's house. It's their nature. There is nothing ultimately evil about that. But understand it, that does not mean that they are spiritual people. So it is those things, for example, this person that is quiet, no one talks. So for him to have the peace of God growing inside him, the joy of the Lord growing inside him, God must allow the things that will trouble them. Because you see, the person that is quiet like that, his heart is usually full of bitterness. Am I communicating? His heart is full of what? That's why sometimes they say, your heart is strong. Because the day he vomits the things that are inside him, you wonder. The day he acts, you begin to wonder. Because that's his nature. Now that's what you see. It's like this. You can't trust him. Don't worry, wait for me as they come. Wait for me as they come. He's a good. Everybody has had. And you want to go to say, don't tell you to wait now. What are you trying to do? Don't be mean. He's here to wait. You know him that when he tells you to wait, he's going. And God will not use the circumstances like that will affect him negatively. Sometimes, even when he tells somebody to wait with all his heart, he comes and he sees that he's disappointed. And he says, locally, you see my Christian, I told him to wait. What is he doing? He's still vibrating. And his vibration rather is not shaking the rock. Nothing is happening as a result of his vibration. So God is only trying to use him to train him to grow the fruit of the Spirit. And the moment it happens, you see that his face has changed. He's found. He says, look, I don't deal with people like that. He's getting angry. God is telling him, in the midst of that, the joy of the Lord is what? Your strength. How do you grow that? That's the reason why we are tested every day. Count it all joy when you fall into what? Diverse temptations. So when it happens, sometimes you think that God is against us. Sometimes you say, oh God, why are you doing me like this? And it looks like God is quiet. It's not talking to you. It's training you. It's not training you for anything but spirituality. Can I hear you say, man? It's training you so that you'll be able to grow the fruit of the Spirit. So that you become mature. The joy of the Lord will really become your strength. And that's what God wants. So the joy from within and a sense of peace that attends the believer is not just from outside. It's not just from outside. It is not because of what they have acquired or achieved, or the circumstances and the people around them. So as that is happening, this in turn kills the flesh. It does what? Kills the flesh. Now, if you see a mature believer that let me say is an extroverted kind of person, is showing like this, emotional and is mature, it doesn't mean that he's no longer an extroverted person. But you see that it's a charge of his behavior. It's a charge. Sometimes you do the things that will make him shout, he will not shout. I had a friend in those days, a minister who was in the world before me. When he was a pastor, in fact, he was a pastor before me. If he's talking, sometimes you'll be afraid because he can say and shout at you while you are listening. I remember one day I attended a program in the church. And I think they were having an inaugural service hall. They were having an annual convention. And he was sitting. He said, you know me, in those days, I would stand there and shout. But now, I don't feel shout again. He said, sometimes, ask them. They know, but I don't feel again. Hallelujah. He didn't say, I am not. He said, I cannot do it again. It's just because something has happened, even as a pastor, because ministry has the right thing, and he knew what it means for ministry to minister to him. Am I communicating? Hello? I didn't speak now to become pastor. But when you have become pastor, pastor will pastor you. So that's why we testify here the church. And I believe that it is God's love that hits us, knocks us down, rebuilds us, and raises us up. Many of us don't realize that is the primary thing we need for spirituality. We're looking for it, we're looking for outward manifestations. Number one, we're going to talk about pruned and grown to grow. God prunes us and grows us to grow. Number two, we'll be looking at potentials of growing gifts. Let's just deal with that briefly. Now, in Psalm 27, quickly turn over. Psalm 27. Let me start reading from verse number 1. David's powerful song. He said, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Now I ask you, what is the salvation? Your money, your family, your prestige, your relationship. David has come to learn a lesson, and probably the hard way. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? No more fear. Are you following me? Because he has come to look unto God, he says, whom shall I fear? Now, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat of my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me, and he shall set me upon a rock. And now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in a tabernacle the sacrifice of what? Joy. I will sing, yes, I will sing praises unto the Lord. Now let's get something straight. It is not the singing that is the joy, but joy produces singing. That's what David was saying. He has come to realize enemies surround me. They come to attack me. I know that this is what is going to happen. Now he says, because of that, is a happiness I have, a joy that is producing that happiness. So stay in the house of the Lord. So behold the beauty of the Lord. I just want to see the Lord. I mean, that's what I want to do. If I can be doing that every day, I'll be satisfied. May I ask you, how well do you love God? You love to see Him every day. You love to sing with Him every day, more than anything else. It says, because of that, He will set me up higher than my enemies. And I offer in a tabernacle sacrifices of joy. The Hebrew is the sacrifice of shouting. In other words, there's going to be something that brings singing out of me. Something is going to provoke singing out of me. And I believe that that is the kind of experience that as believers we are supposed to have. And notice, every time that you see scripture, especially David talks about joy, he's talking about troubles. Have you noticed that? Every time you hear him talk about joy, he's talking about troubles around. Troubles coming against me. So, it means that God allows the trouble for a good reason. Not ours, but for our good. Knowing this, that the trial of your faith worketh what? Patience. So, as it happens, something is happening inside you to produce the fruit of that which has been sown inside you. Your new nature is coming to overrule the old nature that has been controlling you. Psalm 119. Psalm 119. Like the subject. Psalm 119. There are wonderful things that are revealed to us. Look at in verse 6 to 7. Before I was afflicted, I went astray. But now, as I kept thy word, before I was afflicted, in other words, before the punishment, the torments, the afflictions came, I had gone astray. But look at verse 71. It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. The psalmist said, it is good that I was afflicted. Now, what was he really talking about? He's trying to talk about the fact that because he went through things, he learned what it meant to keep the word of God. In other words, the faith enabled him to grow joy. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation. Now, understand that as a child of God, until God prunes you, in John 15, Jesus Christ said, I am the true vine, and you are what? The branches. Every branch in me that's bearing fruit is function, so that it will bring forth more fruit. But the one that doesn't bear fruit, it takes away. Now, it says, abide in me, and I in you, and the branch can do nothing except it abides in the vine, so you cannot except you abide in me. For without me, you can do nothing. Now, it says, my father is the husbandman. So what is the father doing? My father is the gardener. What is the gardener doing? Pruning. Somebody said pruning. Talk to me, say pruning. Now, he's making the flowers beautiful. That's what it means to prune. He's making the garden beautiful. But put yourself as a flower in the garden. How do you feel when it comes with its knife? It comes with that scissors. If it was you, if you were a human being as a flower, will you not feel pain? Will it not be hurtful? But at the end of the day, everybody looks at it and says, wonderful, beautiful. There is something I saw in the picture. I don't know whether it's true. They use the flower to build a house. And when you see it is adorable. And I know that is a master gardener. It's a master gardener. Somebody that knows how to take care of flowers. Because it's so beautiful and they use it to write things. I have been wondering where that place is. Because when you look at it, you just wonder, wow, this is man's end. And if man can do that to flowers, think about when God has finished with you. Can I hear you say, man? When God has finished with you, when somebody sees you, say, wow, look at the work of God. Look at what God has done. But remember, it's going to be painful. As the knife, the scissors goes through, it will cut something, and you shout, you cry out in pain. You wonder, why is it doing this to me? Because he wants to grow the fruit of the Spirit. He's taking away his excesses. He's taking away the things that are not okay. Look at it this way. If you build a house, and somebody says it is that house that you build that is going to live in, and probably you built a number of flats, and you are staying for the flat. There's a normal size for door, and the person wants to enter, and the person says, I don't fit enter through this door. What advice will you give to the person? Is it break your door, or what? Sit down and come and enter? Do you understand what I'm saying? Well, my door will always, I don't know about you, but my door will always be the same size. You want to enter, you go and sit down. Not so. You don't think too much, you don't get enter through door. So, with a break door for you to pass, you will go to sit down. Not so. Am I communicating? And that's what God is saying. So look at my door. If you're too big, I'll slice you. I'll just trim you. So that you can go in and come out and find what? Pastor. John chapter 10, Jesus Christ said, I am what? The door. By the if any man enters, he shall be what? He shall go in and out. Character. Somebody say character. Talk to me, say character. So when you're in church, you have character. When you're in the office, you have character. When you're in the market, you have character. When you're on the street, you have character. When you're in the village, you have character. When you're with your family, you have character. You're with unbelievers, you have character. You're unbelievers, you have character. You go in and out to find what? Pasture. And that's what God wants. You see, joy and peace is not the absence of pain or emotional torture. It is not because it is not there, but in spite of pain and the emotional torture, remaining strong in faith. Still finding your delight and satisfaction in God and in His purposes, with a sense of inner calmness, undisturbed by circumstances of outside situations. That is what God wants. So that in spite of what is happening around, you still have the joy of the Lord. You still calm inside. You're still satisfied in God. You're not shaking and saying, oh, because this is not there, this one is not working, I'm going to give up on God. No. The things that make one sad are therefore God's special tools to build them. Now, understanding and walking in the fruit of the Spirit by the word of God is what kills the flesh, and consequently, it enables you to grow as a believer spiritually. So your maturity is in how you grow the fruit of the Spirit, not necessarily are you talking from or do some spiritual religious show up. Now, it is important to observe that we are never told to seek for joy per se, or to seek for peace per se, but rather we are commanded to rejoice or be joyful and to live in peace as we are commanded to love, because joy and peace are essential parts of our new nature. It is the fact of us as new creation, but the only thing that it must grow. That's why it's called fruit. If it doesn't grow, it is as good as not being there. Can I hear you say, man? If it doesn't grow, it is as good as not being there. So it must grow. John chapter 16, verse 33. John 6, verse 33. Now, it says, these things are spoken unto you, that in me you might have what? Peace. But in the world you have what? Tribulation. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. What is this saying? That you should not go to the world then, of course. He said, you're in the world, but not of the world. But he said, it is only in me you have peace. That means that when you are with your friends, when you are in the world, when you are with your associates in the world, when you are buying, you are selling, you are teaching, you are studying, anything, you are the boss, you are driving, whatever you are doing, you must be in Christ. You must be in Christ. Because it says in the world you have tribulation. So the evidence that you are going into the world is that you lose your peace. This thing I said unto you that in me you have peace, but in the world you have tribulation. So we, as humans, we are both actionary and reactionary creatures. However, at the point you can deliberately, I say consciously, deliberately, naturally and actively choose the word of God and seek to walk according to it in spite of unfavorable circumstances and situations, and without hesitation, really joy and peace. Even if you gain nothing by it, it is evidence that you are mature. That's what is called the crucified life. So, if you have moved to the place where things are not working, because the average believer, once things are not working, they will lose their calm, they will lose their joy, they will no longer have peace. But if you can move to that place, and that's what God wants, to move to that place in which in spite of things working to your favor. Now, there are things that we can risk if we can gain something. We'll speak about what we can get. And that selfish Christianity that unfortunately as visitors have been passed out, selfish Christianity. I mean, it's not built around love. Because you're always thinking of what will I get, what will I get, what will I get, what will it give me, what will she give me? I mean, what am I going to benefit? This relationship, what is it going to give me? This thing I'm doing, what is it going to give me? We are always thinking of what it will give me, not what we are going to give out. But if we can move to that place in which even though you get nothing, because you know that this is of God, this is by God, you hold on to the word of God. And as you hold on to the word of God, it's not because you're reflecting, it's not because you're grieving over it, but you are joyful, you have delight in God, in the purposes of God, you're satisfied as long as God is satisfied, and that makes you calm, that makes you settle inside, that makes you not aggressive, that makes you not overtired. You know you're not gaining anything, but this is what you're doing because of the Lord. That means that you're growing spiritually. And that means that your flesh is dying. Can I hear you say that? And this is how to kill the flesh. If you do not kill the flesh, that way the flesh will be ruling over you. Chapter 12 of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 12. This is a prophetic view of Israel. Now it says, and in that day, now when we look at it, applying it to the church, that is today, the day of the church, the day of the Lord. And in that day, thou shalt say, O Lord, I will praise thee, though thou wast angry with me. Thine anger is turned away, and thou comfortest me. Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For the Lord Jehovah is my strength, and my song, he also is become my salvation. Therefore, with joy shall he draw water out of the well of salvation. You see that? Because I'm saved, I'm joyful. Because I'm saved, I feel so happy. Because I'm saved, I feel so glad inside. I have delight within me. I delight in the Lord. That's why it's the psalmist and most of the prophets in the Old Testament, when they're talking about it, they're talking about it as finding fulfillment in God. Fulfillment in God's satisfaction. What satisfies God? I love what God loves. I'm glad with what God is glad at. I'm satisfied with what God is satisfied at. So that makes me joyful all the time. That makes me always glad. That's why David says, I was glad when they say, let us go to where? The house of the Lord. Because that pleases God. How pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together. Oh, God is happy about it. So I'm glad when they say, let us go to the house of the Lord. And as a child of God, these are things that we have to think of. For that to happen, God will bring the circumstances, or rather allow the circumstances to challenge you. So that Are you really glad when they say, let us go to the house of God? What are the things that will make you say, oh, I don't go to church today. My shoe is not good. If I go to church now, that's the thing that you come to the church and you'll be struggling. You'll be hiding your legs. Because you're not excited. There is something that I am seeking for that we used to have in those days. I don't know why the devil has so fought against that thing. The people come to church and they are excited. They find joy in the presence of the brethren. They can't be at home while brethren are gathering. It's something that they can't think about. The joy of salvation. They don't ask people to eat, they come into church. Their clothes are not good, they come into church. They don't have good shoes, they're coming to church. They just want to do it. And I remember in those days as a brother, I'll never forget that brother. I met him in the Lord. When we were going out to evangelism, sometimes I used to be ashamed because his dresses are so old. And I said, I was the youngest among them. Youngest among them, and as a new believer, I didn't know what to do. But I feel that something should be done. His dresses are so old, but he will wash them, take care of them. Sometimes you see all these places, they're not looking good. But he will come and the challenge is that when he's talking to you about Christ, and he tells you I packed my gift there, you will believe it. Am I communicating? It's so confident that people don't even recognize that. That's because of that, my eyes were blinded towards that. Am I communicating? I know that many of you are quiet because that's one of the strange lands that you never dream of entering. Evangelism. Don't let the moment you become a believer, the first thing that you do, because you're so excited about this Jesus that saves you, you love him so much that you want everybody to know about him. I was telling a brother about somebody, there's a young man, one of the most dramatic experiences I had when I became a believer. Of course, I have told you that many times. I used to be very reserved person. I don't like public. I don't like the crowd. But when I gave my life to Christ, I wanted to tell people about Christ. Now, I remember when I started preaching, in those days, there's a box from my church. So I entered that box and I began to speak in the box. And as I was speaking, with all the zeal that I can muster, I don't look at people's faces, I have to look at the end. It's talking about when you are having someone speaking at least now, they talk that one I know. That you don't look at the people in front, you look at the people at the back. You stay in front and look at the person at the back. As a matter of fact, you're looking at the extreme end, so you're looking at everybody and looking at nobody. And I was speaking with all my heart. When I finished, as I got down, sometimes people just come around and small boy, oh, God bless you, good boy. Some of them will look at me with very hard eyes. I think they should eat me up because what is this small boy really talking about? And it just happens to me, just maybe a little bit older than me, but it's good. And he told me to just be my father. And I led him to Christ. And since then, later, I entered into ministry with a lot of communication. And a thought just occurred to me. I was looking for it until I got in contact with everybody. And when I looked at it, I just knew that time had passed. Hallelujah. Time had passed. And I was so excited. Healed in the Lord. And that is refreshing my moment. I was so happy. Why was I happy? Because that is the fruit of loving the Lord. Can I hear you say, man? I said, that's the fruit of what? Loving the Lord. We love the Lord. If the Lord has loved you, the Lord will come out. And one of the things that helps us express it in those days is talking to people about Christ. You tell them how you love the Lord. You tell them how the Lord loves you, and now you love him also. Do you really love the Lord? Do you have the joy of the Lord? Do you have the peace of God? Yes, it is the one way it is there, but that it must grow. Somebody say, let it grow. Say, let it grow. I have many scriptures for you there. You go home, you go through them, like Peter said. Think it not strange concerning the very trial, which is to try you as those of strange things happen unto you. It is not a strange thing when you are tested and tried. The Bible tells us that you have joy unspeakable and full of glory in verse 8 of 1 Peter chapter 1. Because the trials that come, They come as heaviness. When they look at it, they say, hey, see what you go through, but you have joy inside. Because it is not your joy, it is the joy of the Lord. It's a part of God's nature. Number two, potentials of growing gifts. Every gift that is truly a gift of God is founded on love, joy, and peace. In other words, if you're a child of God, if you have the love of God in you, joy and peace will grow. And the gifts of the Holy Spirit are founded on joy and peace. When you see a person that doesn't have joy and peace, be very careful. Gifts can destroy. Can I hear you say, man? I said, gifts can what? Let me show you something in Psalm 51 again. Let's go over. Let's look at Psalm 51 from verse number 12. Now, David is crying out. He is pleading with God for mercy because he knew that he had sinned against God. From verse 51. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Now look at it. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then, when the joy of salvation is restored, then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O God, thou God of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. Then in verse 15, O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise, the sweet service of Israel. Now in verse 16 it says, but thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifice of God are a broken and a contrite spirit. A broken and a contrite heart, O God, thou wilt not despise. Now, at a devotional time, read it through again. What the psalmist is saying is that the gifts that I have to offer, they depend on the joy of salvation that I have. In other words, every gift that works in us will depend on the fruit of the Spirit. A gift that is not dependent on the fruit of the Spirit will thrive. As a matter of fact, it's questionable. And that's the reason why a lot of people are duped by the devil. Because they did not spend time with God to grow the fruit of the Spirit. And they saw a little gift and they started running in tangents, so to say, to manifest spiritual gifts. Some of them are prophets, some of them are evangelists, bishops, and as a result, because the gifts of the Spirit are not growing in them, they're still living in the flesh. The flesh has not died. Now look at it this way. How can a man preach, perform miracles, and still commit adultery? The Bible says the foundational commandment is, thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And thou shalt love your neighbor as yourself. It says, because if you love, you will not walk ill against your neighbor. Thou shalt not commit adultery is fulfilling, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself is fulfilling, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. If you want to steal, Lord will constrain you not to steal. Why? The desire for stealing has been overtaken because if you stole from your neighbor is harm. You're doing harm to your neighbor. You can't kill your neighbor because you love your neighbor. Love will not enable you to, or love will deprive you or hinder you or block you from killing. Love will kill the desire, the appetite to kill. And that means that the reason why you see that a person can preach and still do all those wrong things is because even if he has the gift of God, he didn't deal it on the fruit of the Spirit. And as a matter of fact, some of the scriptures make me to understand that the fruit of the Spirit is what the gift of the Spirit are built upon. Now, a man as backsliding, he can be after the anointing of the Holy Ghost, can even heal the sick, cast out devils, And Jesus Christ on the last day I will say, I never knew you. Because he didn't build on the fruit of the Spirit. Am I communicating? He didn't build on the fruit of the Spirit. He had the gift and ran away. Just like you called me and said, Brother, come. See this 10,000 naira. I was wanting to give you. I just took the 10,000 naira. Hey, 10,000. I ran away. I didn't hear. Why would you want to give me 10,000 naira? I didn't know what you wanted me to take 10,000. I didn't want to use the 10,000 naira the way I want. But probably you wanted me to give it to somebody. You wanted me to do something with it. Am I communicating? That's the reason why when people, if anybody gives money, I said, what do you want to use this money for? Is it for window? Is it for stand? I will ask you. Because I have to know. And many of us sometimes, we don't understand that there are gifts of the Spirit, but there's no personal connection and relationship with God. And it is when you're related with God that you grow the fruit of the Spirit. The gift can destroy you. You can be using the gift of the Spirit that God will do at you. The spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. So it means that anointing of the prophet is under the control of the prophet. Some can even sell it. As long as it lasts, the oil lasts, it will continue until the time comes that when the oil has dried, it comes back to himself. It's not ordinary. So since he didn't grow the fruit of the Spirit, he has to look for a way to help himself. That's the reason why sometimes people don't know. Some of those people that are mighty, they were all children of God that were moving in the gift of the Spirit, but because they didn't grow the fruit of the Spirit, a time came that they discovered that they were empty. The fruit of the Spirit of God has left them because there's no fruit. There's no character. Gift can carry up, character keeps you. But since there's no character, they want to fall. They say, hey, everybody does know this at the mighty one of God. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And the wrong person will show up and say, I will direct you the way you get the power. And so some of them are using my water power. Some of them are in the book. Their hands are soiled. Why? Because they did not have character. Build character. Spirituality is character. Am I still communicating? Spirituality is what? Character. It's not talking in tongues. Thank God for talking in tongues. Character is what keeps you. Talking in tongues all you want and you don't have character, you are lost. Don't build on gifts. Build on character. The fruit of the Spirit. Nehemiah 8:8%. Now, that incident, we always quote that scripture. But just go back there. The Israelites discovered that they have been messing up. They thought because they have been restored, they came back from captivity. So they were building the temple, trying to restore the worship, build the walls of Jerusalem. They have not succeeded. Everything seemed to be all right. But they didn't know that they were taking certain things for granted. That they were not living like God wanted them to live. There were omissions. They were negligent. The priesthood, the marital life, their relationship, like Malachi said to them, said that they were mistreating your wives. They were abusing them. They were misusing them. They were breaking the covenants of marriage. And so Nehemiah began to speak to them. And when they had it, under the rain, they were crying. They were praying. They had to have a day of fasting and prayer. And they began to make their restitutions. And it is on the basis of that Nehemiah spoke to them these words. Then he said unto them, Go your way, eat the fat, drink the sweet, and send portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared, because they were neglecting the poor. For this day is holy unto the Lord, is sanctified, is a set-apart day. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. Do you know why it says the joy of the Lord is the strength? Because they have made restitution. They have now come back to their salvation. They have now come back to themselves as children of God. You know, the joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord is your strength. You know, it's very exciting to go scripture. But you see, the man is living in the sin. He has not repented of the wrong things he has done. He says, the joy of the Lord. That is sin that doesn't make the joy of the Lord your strength. It is when you have been brought back to salvation. David says, restore unto me the joy of your salvation. Then it becomes your strength. Am I communicating? It becomes what? Oh, talk to me. It becomes what? Now, the entry point to human emotions is joy and peace. Do you know that? Okay, before we go through, I'm going to deal with that. The entry point, our life, I have said many times, is 75 to 85% emotions. But the entry into our emotions, into that aspect of life, that aspect of our being that is feelings, affection, is joy and peace. If there is no joy and peace, the mind is emotionally broken. And so what the devil is trying to do is to make sure that you don't grow the fruit of the Spirit that is joy, the fruit of the Spirit that is peace. Because he knows that the moment you have the joy of the Lord and the peace of God, then you are gathered together. You have built a strong wall around you that the devil will not be able to penetrate. Am I still communicating with you? Now, God demands our participation and cooperation for this joy and peace to grow. Otherwise, no fruit of the Spirit on the other hand will even grow. Because all our hidden potentials, spirituality, revelations, understanding, or whatever you call them, depend on them. That is the fruit of the Spirit. Even the greatest of gifts is no longer Christian, that is Christ-like, without the fruit of the Spirit. I mean, the greatest of gifts, let it be that, like Peter is walking, and the shadow touches the sick or the dead, and they are healed and raised up. As long as the fruit of the Spirit is not there, it is no longer Christian. No, that's why sometimes people look at it and say, hey, there's no judgment, there's no judgment. If there's no fruit of the Spirit, then there is no Christianity. It is the fruit of the Spirit that makes Christianity what Christianity is. So we can only grow the fruit of the Spirit through experiences. God wants us to grow. We grow joy and peace through things that tend to embarrass us and disappoint us and humiliate us and disgrace us and those things that are capable of breaking us emotionally. It is through these things that joy and peace is being grown. It is normal and human to cry, to be in pain, to lose our joy and peace, to be unhappy, to be sorrowful, because it is painful and it is hurtful. Amidst circumstances that embarrass us and harass us, our peace is gone. And those things are undesirable and nobody wants them. But it is superhuman. It's not natural not to allow your emotions to take the better of you. It's not natural. That things are happening around you and they are hurting you. They are affecting you. And it is what makes you cry. But it's a no. In spite of that, the joy of the Lord is my strength. You are calm inside. It is not natural. It is superhuman. It is beyond human. It is, and that's the reason why God wants to grow the fruit of the Spirit, because it's the more you will have tribulation. As long as you are living among people, as long as you are living in the world where the devil is roaring like a lion, joy and peace are the very first expressions that evidence your love, your agape love, the love of God, God's kind love. Joy and peace are the first things that evidence it. The moment the love of God has been born in the heart of the person, the next two things that flow as a result of that love are joy and peace. And it is the seal of a believer's relationship with God. If you remember, when David had committed adultery in Psalm 32, it says, happy is the man whose sins are forgiven, whose iniquities are recorded against him. The man whom the Lord not in good transgression. It says, happy is that man. The King James says, blessed is that man. Now, when the Ethiopian eunuch met with Philip, the Bible says that Philip baptized him. And the moment Philip baptized him, he came out, Philip disappeared. The Bible says he went home rejoicing. Why was he rejoicing? Because he had been saved. Philip entered into Samaria. He preached the gospel. The Bible said there was joy in the whole city. Why was there joy? Because they have been saved. The first time the software was there oppressing them, but now that they have got salvation, they are rejoicing. The Bible says there was joy in the whole city, and that's the kind of life that God expects us to live. Because with joy you shall draw water out of the well of salvation. Now, when a believer fails in adversity, it is evidence of immaturity in spirituality. Because man that is one of woman is of few days and full of trouble. The Bible says if you fail in the day of adversity, your strength is small. That means that you are not mature. Proverbs 24:10. So if you fail in the day of adversity, your strength is small. That means that if because of trouble, you begin to lose your joy, you begin to lose your peace. You say, I'm losing my mind. It means that your strength is small. You are not mature. You need to grow. Tell me about grow up. Talk to me, say grow up. So you see, discrepant or dysfunctional character is a result usually of lack of the fruit that is called joy and peace, or a lack of fruit in the fruit of the Spirit called joy and peace. It shows one as not tied to the flesh. Because a man that doesn't have control over his emotions is like a city that is having walls that are broken down. Proverbs 25 verse 28. The Bible says a man that has no rule over his spirit, that means over his emotional life. That man is like a city that is walls, but the walls are broken down. It becomes vulnerable, and the emotions can be attacked at any time. So anybody that wants to trouble it will just trigger its emotion and it's our thoughts. Why? Because it doesn't have the joy of the Lord. It's hostile. It's aggressive. Sometimes you see people, they come outside, they say it is transferred aggression. It is because of the way things say that 9 less. When they say I did violence like that. That means that you don't have control over your spirit. So if you have the joy of the Lord and you're growing in it, if you have the peace of God, you're growing in it, then it means that no matter what happens, Jesus Christ says, in me you have what? Peace. Is that all right? So it means that time that you become aggressive, violent, hostile, you are out of Christ. As you want to grow in Him, abide in Him, and I in you, so that you bring forth much fruit. And God wants us to learn to walk in the Spirit, grow spiritual fruit. Joy and peace are the entrance to it. Can I hear you say, man? Once the love of God is there, you can grow joy, you can grow peace. If you believe this, let me catch an amen. Stand with me and let's pray.